Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully you guys can hear them. Let's go ahead and get this started. Welcome back to Tub Takes. Adi, stop, please, please. It was really good, honestly. It was well done. I was starting to freak. Anyways, welcome back to Tub Takes. This is a video podcast where we go over what's been making waves in the VGC scene. Today I am joined by my co-host Adi, and you guys can definitely hear him. All right, let's cut to that's Adi. Hopefully you guys heard that all good. Let's cut to Nick, my other co-host, who's always on the show. Usually,
what's up,
always.
Guys? My audio actually works today.
That's true.
Crazy.
And we've got your Stockholm regional champion, Michaelderbeste. Michael, how's it going?
Hi, thanks for inviting me.
Congratulations.
And thank you for the raid, by the way. Now that you finished streaming and you're hopping on another stream. Yeah, we'll definitely have to ask Michael why he abandoned the red bike. Let's we'll get into that later. Let's get through the intro and some housekeeping stuff before we start talking about Stockholm. Showdown is down. It's not technically like Tub Takes news, but it is just like unfortunate. I was planning on doing a double stream later, but if Showdown's still down, I'm not going to be streaming. Anyways. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be up on YouTube, so if you can only stay here for the beginning of the stream and you can't stick around for the end of it, check it out there. Audi will have that uploaded tomorrow on the channel, CK49. And other than that, feel free to leave questions in the chat. We'll definitely be looking there and, just get into it. Today's topics, we're going to start off with a quick tournament announcement. Many people saw this being talked about last week, but if you didn't, there is a charity tournament helping out people in Brazil who were affected by the, I believe, flooding there. Yes, the flooding right there. And so I think it's held on the, it says the 19th here. What day is that? I thought it might have been like a Thursday, but maybe it was just the weekend.
It's Saturday, you know?
No, it's a Sunday. It's a Sunday. Okay, I don't know why I thought it was a Thursday. I could just do the math. But anyways, there is a kitty.
Stop.
Okay, so yeah, this is a charity tournament. Definitely recommend people, if you have the time, check it out, play it. It's going to be good practice. Nick, they want to know, who's the kitty?
It's Fido. He's a dog. He looks like a cat though, so acts like a dog more than a cat. But
yes,
it's complicated.
It's complicated. But yeah, I don't know what I'm planning on doing on Sunday, so if I'm free, I might just play in this, why not, help out a good cause, get some good practice, could always, stream it, do some content, so definitely recommend other people check this one out. And
I dropped a link to the Limitless link in the chat, so if you want to click on that, you can get all the sign-up instructions there.
Perfect. Okay. It looks like, yeah, they're doing things through a Discord, so that should make things pretty easy to follow from there. Just join in there. And
which time is it? 8 a.m. Okay, yeah.
I think
that should work.
Well, I was gonna say, if you click the link for yourself, Michael, I swear that Limitless does your own time.
Yeah, it's 5 p.m. Yeah, it's converts into your own time zone. I just checked.
That's actually pretty good, but it converts to your own time zone. 8 a.m. for me is pretty early, guys. I'll be honest. We'll see about that.
It is.
Anyways, who wants to talk about Reg F? Had another big Reg F tournament over the weekend. It was the tournament in Thailand. I don't know if it was, I guess, the national, right? Yeah, it was won by none other than ladder hero Nantaro.
Is that back-to-back championships for him?
I bet if we go to the bottom of this page, it'll talk about the history. Let's see.
Funny, because I also play ladder a lot, as some of you might know, and I played so many times against Nontaro, and he always used the same team.
Yes.
He used in the nationals.
I mean, yeah, that is how to get the most out of your skill level, whatever it may be, is to spam one team and just know your lines inside and out and know all your calcs.
Or you drop the team 2 days before the event.
That is the other way to do it.
That's the other way to do it. Yeah, you see, like, I know that sticking to a team is always the good way to do it. We've seen so many countless cases of that over the course of history. But did you guys consider that I get so bored and I want to be a snowflake?
Yeah.
And like I'm always, looking at the grass is greener on that new team. I could stick to what I know, or I could just risk it all, try something new because it looks fun.
Yeah, so there's a couple of varieties of formats where pivoting around is the play. There's probably a pretty good case to be made that Reg G is one of those formats because it's like kind of RPSy, and if you have a sense of which way the winds are blowing heading into the tournament, you can pivot.
Mm-hmm.
The other formats that reward pivoting around are generally lower power level formats because your team doesn't have to be like as sound, and you can like throw together answers to things on the fly, and they're not going to just blow you out if you misposition once. So um I do think that this is a format where switching around is pretty valid overall. Reg F probably less so.
Yeah, we're still talking about Reg F neck. I don't know what that Reg G stuff that you're talking about is. That sounds like something
What's
for the
Reg G?
future, but
Wedge Ice is Reg F stuff.
yes.
Unless it's Reg G ice.
Oh no, I'm gone. I'm gone.
Bye.
Reg G ice. Oh man. Okay. So it looks like the top 2 players get the World's Round 1 bye as well as the Travel Award, and top 8 earned their Worlds invites. I think it was a top 64 from what I was reading, or not 64. It was a 64 player tournament. 44 looks like they made it out. Yeah, I'm not sure. They might
How
have
many
done
rounds did they play?
younger divisions or not. But
Single elimination bracket gone.
yeah.
No Swiss rounds.
Yeah, a lot of the Asia regions love to do very competitive tournament structures. More competitive than we see over here. Ones that rely on, not making any mistakes, because I wouldn't want anyone to win a tournament if they made mistakes, Like
Michael, what are your thoughts on people being able to lose 4 sets and still win the tournament?
Like, Michael lost the first round of Stockholm, and I think he should have just gone home. Like, I think he shouldn't have been allowed to play anymore.
Makes sense.
It makes sense to me. Let's go ahead and talk about Carolina really quick, because Stockholm, I imagine, is going to be the meat of things. And there's not going to be a ton to say about Carolina. We can look at the 6, and, you can make a lot of inferences based on the teams. But we don't actually have sets for anything.
Right on!
Yes!
So I actually, the first place team, I linked the rental code. The person tweeted it out. It's in the Tub TV chat somewhere.
Right, I'll go grab it.
So, and we have the Karadon expert here to critique it. So we really should look at it.
I think this is the time to ask Michael, we're going to go talk about, Zamazenta and stuff, but you were big on the red bike. Why'd you drop it? What happened?
So it's interesting because that team looks even more weak into this stuff. So the problem with Koraidon for me was that it was not really great into Pelipper Calyrex Ice. And after Indianapolis, the Calyrex Ice usage was at like 35%, if I remember correctly, in day 2. And I mean, you have Sunny Day Tornadoes to help with that, but it was still. I also tried Sunny Day Tornadoes, but it still felt very uphill. And having an uphill matchup against the most common team in the meta just is not really good for me. And please tell me what the team does into Miraidon, into Tyrant Miraidon stuff. It just cries and loses.
It has a Rillaboom. You can reset the terrain. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but yeah, these were the 2 main reasons. Just because Kelly Ice was a big problem for Koraidon, and if you have a problem into the most recent regional winning team, then you should not be able to play it. At least for me, I mean, Kenneth showed how good it can still be, but I'm really interested on what his schedule was, because
All right, 1 second, guys. Oop, hold on 1 second, guys. I messed up the sound. Okay, there we go.
I mean, you can always play at if
all
your
right.
opponent.
Sorry. I cut out the audio. My bad. We're back.
I said, so Michael was saying, the Koraidon team never really beats Calyrex Ice. And honestly, I believe that because I saw Luca Tragut got top 16, I think, at Indy. And he said the same thing. He had an awful matchup into Calyrex Ice with the Raging Bolt version instead of Walking Wake. But yeah, the person who won this, Kenneth, did beat Calyrex Ice in top 4. And that was streamed. So maybe that, I don't know, maybe we could take some inspiration. Maybe he has secret text. Maybe he just.
I mean, he has Terra Water Goggles, Willow Instant, so that's a pretty good thing into the matchup.
That guy does go pretty hard against most of the comp.
Yeah, so. And
yeah,
also Walking Wake is decent as well. Sorry.
Goldengo is probably pretty okay into Calyrex Ice as well.
That's what I thought when I saw it, is that I guess it relies a lot on the gold to get through the team, and I think gold seems like it definitely could help with that because, a lot of the things that they're using to threaten Goldengo on Cali Ice teams are Pokemon like the Water-type Pelipper and Urshifu, which, you can definitely reduce their damage a lot by getting off a sunny day. Getting through the Raging Bolt might be a little bit different, but you have other Pokemon that can help out in that matchup.
I mean, you kind of don't.
I just found out. I just had a tweet. No. He tweeted out his matchup. He said he brings Walking Wake, Instant, Goldengo, Rillaboom. So he just drops the Koraidon into Cali Ice Pelipper.
That is so funny.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Also, what's your opinion on Terra Steel Sash Torn?
That's probably...
Sash I'm pretty down with.
Yeah, I feel like I probably run Ghost if I was Sash for sure, yeah. Or Flying. I really wanted the juice.
Or even like Ground, right? You want to be able to tear into an immunity if you're Sash normally. And so being immune to Thunderclap and Miraidon is potentially another route. Steel doesn't really give you any immunities. You're still getting 2-shot by everything. So
Poison immunity
I don't really get that.
For Eternatus.
Well, true.
I can't argue with facts.
Sure.
All right.
But yeah, interesting team. I sorry, but I just wanted to say that I could see Koraidon now being in the uptrend as well because of Zamazenta performing pretty well and Calyrex Shadow performing not well again. But yeah, I could see more Koraidon in Indianapolis, in LA.
Since you mentioned it, you're probably the best person to ask about this. How is the Koraidon Zamazenta matchup?
Well, it depends also on the Zamazenta set, because many Zamazenta teams also have Pelipper, and once the rain is set up, you and they Terra, you don't do any damage with Collision Course or Flare Blitz, but that's where Walking Wake helps out. So I think every Koraidon team needs a Walking Wake to perform decently well, and that's what we also saw here. But other than that, I would say actually that Koraidon isn't that great into Zamazenta. So people sometimes think these one-on-one scenarios where this restricted has to be good into another restricted, but they don't think about the whole team. For example, I think for you, Zamazenta was not really stressful for your team, but you were playing Terrapagos, and people just say, oh, Zamazenta against Terrapagos, it has to be good, but it probably wasn't.
Oh no, I think my indie team gets cooked by Zamazenta.
Oh, okay.
Fair. It's you have exactly one bullet, and it's Chiyu hitting it with an overheat, and if you don't get that off, it's like if they just remove the Chiyu or pivot out of it. Pivoting out is actually fine for you, but you just have to time it right so your Chi is on the board at the same time as the Zam, and it's kind of tricky to pull off without a lot of pivoting pieces. It's
interesting.
It's pretty negative overall.
Okay. Because
it's definitely not unwinnable, but it's not.
All right. I will talk more about that later when we get to the point.
So some of the other teams that we saw from the special event here. Wait, this was a special event, right? Yes, it was. Were Turtle, a pretty basic Cali Ice team. I gotta say, I guess I should mention the Entei getting second. I don't know what type of turtle this is, if this was Specs or Calm Mind, but regardless, definitely a bit of a different turtle composition. A little bit hard to say without seeing the sets. Then we see two Kyogre teams, a slightly different Miraidon team from Alberto, another basic Kelly Ice, and Ho-Oh. I just realized there's a Ho-Oh down here. Okay.
Oh, Tinglu. Oh no.
And Torkoal.
Now,
Anxiety.
sadly, we don't have team sheets, so we're not going to see the specifics of any of these teams. But yeah, this is not the biggest event, right? I think it had 45 players, 45 masters.
Yes, yeah.
But it is cool to see. Not only was it won by a player from Puerto Rico, but a lot of top cut was players from Puerto Rico. I want to say Connor Swickert and Joe got 9th and 10th respectively. And so 2 Americans just barely bubbling out in favor of Puerto Ricans. And the second place player is, I checked their Twitter out. They are actually from the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's not like they just represent them in Victory Road's World Cup. They actually, I think, live there. So it's cool to see these the special events held in the Caribbean actually attract Caribbean players and are starting to build the scene up over there.
They were streamed, right?
Yes.
The sets?
Yeah, somebody was asking about that. They were streamed here. You can find the links to those on the Victory Road page. Maybe I'll watch those later on stream this week because, yeah, it just seems like, be interesting to see like a bit more about how these games played out between some of the more interesting teams and what sets they were running, if you want to get like a preview before, I imagine you might eventually see the open team sheets for these, but, might be a little bit further down the line.
I was wondering, is it sometimes if you have 8 Swiss rounds, day 2 or top cut is played on the second day. Was this a one-day tournament?
This was a one-day tournament. Yes,
it was one day. I actually not even sure if Alberto played his top 8 set. I think I remember seeing something on Twitter that he was just gonna drop because he had like a tour that he wanted to attend, like a tour, like they were just like on vacation, and they're like, we're not missing this tour, like so.
Fair. I mean, he got the top 8.
He got the 100 CP, the top 8. So it is a special event. There's no prize money on the line, and so maybe Alberto just thought that 100 CP was all he needed. But also, I would have to double check to make sure I'm not just spouting nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, actually, now that the LAIC TA is on, so every CP might be needed. But yeah.
But yeah, since there's not too much to talk about teams-wise, let's go ahead and move on to Stockholm. So Stockholm was won by Michael, I think. That seems familiar. I don't know. With a team that also seems familiar. We've got the dog. He's got that dog in him.
Yeah.
So, Michael, without launching into like a full team report or anything, do you mind giving us a quick rundown of the squad you used?
Yeah, so big shout outs first of all to Eternal Snowman, Michael Zhang, for building V6. He is on V6 for a while now, and I was reaching out to him because I felt so bad because I used Miraidon on a local. Then I used I used Miraidon and Miraidon on a local the last weekend, the weekend before Stockholm, and I felt pretty bad because I went 2-3 in both, and then I just didn't have any team, and I wanted to use Zamazenta, but building a Zamazenta team from scratch felt impossible. I had stuff like Choice Scarf, Terra Ground, Landwith Eye figured out, and so on, but nothing really clicked. So when I reached out to him, and he said, okay, you can use it. But then I tweaked the EVs a little, also some of the sets, Weather Ball on Pilliper, for example, and Terra Grass Willaboom. And the team doesn't look strong. I mean, we've got Pelipper with 445 base stat total or something. Ladios, which didn't win a regional for 9 years now. Motus Gala, the baby Evelta. So the team doesn't look super strong on paper, but it has good matchups into literally all restricteds. The most uphill battles were literally just the finals against Suica, because he had the Terrapagos team, which felt a little tricky to deal with. Even when I brought the Pelipper, I couldn't really win against him in Swiss. In the end, I was able to win in finals, but I was also a bit lucky there. So other than that one matchup, every single set felt winnable, and that's so amazing about the team, that I lost to another Zamazenta due to a Draco miss with Ladios, against Marco Silva's team, I won 2 rounds before, and when I lost round 1 against Frederick Nielsen because he just played better, but it wasn't a bad matchup. So overall, if anyone wants to run the team, I can recommend it, but the problem now is that people might be tagging against it because it top cutted Indianapolis, but it still wasn't that known that people knew exactly their lines, but I knew the lines. I grinded the Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday, and then I got also lucky with getting into Top Cut itself with 10-4. But yeah,
I was going to say, not to
that's a
mention,
different
like,
story.
if people aren't teching for this team after 2 consecutive top cuts, with one of those being a win, it had 2 top cuts at this tournament itself. Donald, got top 8 as well. Donald's another, Tub Nation resident. Shout out to Donald, might not be in the U.S. anymore, kind of representing us over there. I don't know. Should it say U.S. on his thing? I think it probably said U.S. on stream, because I bet he didn't change his, like,
Yeah, they
Pokemon
did
account.
say US.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, he was like 150 points from a U.S. Worlds, or he's close to a U.S. Worlds invite, but he had it in Europe, and I was surprised he didn't change it to get that lower bar. But no, he cut this regional, and he got his invite in North America too. So
yeah,
props to him.
That is that's super amusing. And I remember when Donald played on stream against in the exact mirror against Michael. Go watch that set. It was very dumb.
my Pokemon were faster though because I didn't tweak for the mirror. I tweaked with spreads for different stuff. But
Right.
my Zamazenta, for example, was always faster than his. But the other speed ties were just stupid. I don't recommend watching it.
It was a lot of the speed ties between other Pokemon, not just the Zamazentas, the Latios, the Chien-Paos. Those were the ones that were a lot more devious. Anyways,
Indeed.
When Donald was on stream, I remember them saying some stuff like, Donald coming all the way from the US for this one and stuff like that. And I was just like, no, like they don't know the latest news.
Dandy did though.
Yes,
right?
Dandy did. But yeah, people are definitely going to be looking a lot more at this team after 3 top 8s or 3 top cuts in 2 tournaments, with one of them being a win. And yeah, I think before we move on from this team, again, this is ESM's team, and so if you really want like the full answers, feel free to reach out to him. He may or may not be willing to talk about it, but let's talk about the 3 things that like really stand out here: Latios, Moltres, and Rillaboom. Those are the ones that like are doing something kind of crazy. Let's start with the star of the show, probably Latios. I think most people were talking about Latios, even though I think Moltres and CB Rilla are equally crazy. Let's start with Latios.
So I think Latios is pretty cool because it has the offensive pressure into stuff like Raging Bolt and Amoonguss in general. All the Fire, Water, Grass teams get buddied by Latios. And it also has a cool typing for Koraidon, for example, as well as Calyrex Ice Rider, because with White Guard, you technically have a full immunity with it, or you can also go for Terra Steel and be good into it. And people underestimate the damage because Soldew gives a boost, 20% boost to both Luster Purge and Draco Meteor, so that's almost life orb damage. And it can OKO Amoonguss with Luster Purge easily, and people just don't expect that to happen. Some people don't even know the side effect of Luster Purge or even the base power of it because it's a move you usually don't see. So guys, do you know exactly what like Luster Purge is?
90, right? 90 power?
It's 100, right?
No.
95?
95?
Yeah, 95.
Okay. See? I already
And
failed
what's
the
the
test.
side effect?
And the side effect is 50% Spadef drop.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it's always funny when the people complain about a Spadef drop and you just say, yeah.
Yep.
It's
Sorry.
It can actually be very game ruining if your Pokemon takes, a little bit over 40 from a Luster Purge, and then suddenly the next one's KOing you.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
the bar's really not high for the Spadef drop into Draco kill as well. Like, you have to do like 35 or something like that. Maybe a bit less.
That is
pretty crazy.
It's got a lot of reach. Latios does damage.
Yeah, the problem is that the both with the strongest move is Draco, and I once again realized how bad it is if your most important move can miss. Because I missed like 5 or 6 Dracos that weekend, all in day one. And it always is scary if you have to click the move to get into a good position. But as long as Latios hits the Draco Meteors and the Icy Winds, it's a great pick. But I would always pair it with Wildguard users because that makes it so great. Because Astral Barrage, Psychic, Calyrex, Latios can get Icy Wind off because of Wildguard. Or, as I already said, against Calyrex Ice or against Dazzling Gleam Fluttermane. There's just so many spread moves that are annoying for Latios, and that's why it's a very good partner with a good Wildguard Pokemon, which Zamazenta is.
Yes. And you got Pelipper too. You got the double wide guard here. Okay, Moltres,
Yeah.
similarly, I do know, it's another Pokemon that really appreciates wide guard. Honestly, Rillaboom too. You know, Glacial Lance is just being stopped from all angles. You know, we got 3 Ice Weeks. Got to do something about it. But Moltres, another floating Pokemon. So if you wide guard next to it, it's immune to Calyrex Ice completely. Can't get high horsepowered. And as you said, it's the budgety Veltal.
It is. It is super important for like Goldango. I mean, look at the team and then look at Goldango. It resists everything.
Yeah.
But it is also just really great into both Kalis, and also the damage it deals with Terra, Dark, Black Glasses, Foul Play, and Sword of Wind as well. That does like 180% to Calyrex Ice, even without a boost, which is funny. That's what I love about it, and also having a slow Tailwind Pokemon, because sometimes people tend to always use Tornadus as their Tailwind setter, but having a bulky Tailwind Pokemon that can also get the Tailwind up more often is pretty cool. And it also, like, it isn't obviously the best Pokemon by any means, and you don't bring it in a lot of matchups, but in the matchups you bring it in, it's super good. So it can solo some matchups.
Those horses, it's really nice with the horses. Not to mention that, you know, it's a Tailwind setter that, because of that dark typing, it's not bad into the more common prankster picks. You know, if a Tornadus is going to taunt you to stop your Tailwind, no, that doesn't work. If a Whimsicott encores you after you set Tailwind, also not going to work. So it's very safe at setting up Tailwind, despite the prankster Pokemon usually beating everything out of the competition when it comes to setting Tailwind. That's a really cool perk of it. And did you actually get to pull off the Sword of Ruin Foul Play any times this weekend? Or that
I didn't actually pull off the Terra Sword Foul Play, but I pulled off a Body Press Terra Dark Foul Play into a Terra Water Calyrex Ice,
Right.
and it KO'd, and they were like, what happened? What just happened? And that was in day 2 in round 11, the round before I played Donald, and that made me pretty happy because like it surprised them.
I kept telling ESM that I really wanted to get Psyshock on this team, not for any real competitive reason, but because we have all of the moves that are strangely buffed by Sword of Ruin. If you have Psyshock, you have Foul Play,
Body Press,
and Body Press, which are moves that it's like, oh, Sword of Ruin makes those do more? Sure, okay. Yeah, we learned the Body Press one a good while ago at this point. But Foul Play plus Sword of Ruin is not something that you have seen at any point through Scarlet and Violet's life cycle until maybe now. Anyways, let's talk about the last one, Choice Band Rillaboom. That was really funny too. The commentators messed that one up a good number of times. They were like, all right, like, they have to respect the Rillaboom's fake out here. And it's like, no, they don't. There's no fake out on the team.
You know what's funny about this? I sometimes wished I had fake out over high horsepower on my Choice Band Rillaboom.
I believe it.
It would have helped quite a ton, but these grassy glides... In round 10, I played against Pro Man, Javier Senorena, and I clicked Terra Grass Grassy Glide Sword of Wind into his Calyrex Shadow, and he was max HP and also death invested, and then he like told me, how on earth did that kill? And then we went with Calc, and it was like always a kill. And when this was insane. Or also people clicking multiple times now. People used Helping Hand Draco Meteor with Miraidon with a choice backs Miraidon. It happened in my top 4 match, but it also happened in Swiss. And they sometimes don't know how frail this Rillaboom actually is
Right.
without an Assault Vest. But the damage output would hammer Terra. That's funny. Without, I gotta mention this one. Actually, no, I will keep it for the Calc as
Ooh,
well.
okay. I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
So yeah, the damage with Rillaboom deals is insane. And Terra Grass was a good choice. Kino back then used Terra Fire. I think it also makes sense having a defensive Terra, but you just want your Rillaboom to deal damage.
Mhm.
So that was pretty cool. But Fake Out would have been nice.
Yes.
Yeah, but I also used high horsepower like twice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Choice Band Rillaboom, and I think Assault Vest Rillaboom is so 2022. Just keep it there and don't use it anymore. Just use Miracle Seed and Choice Band. I genuinely think that Assault Vest is not a good set right now, and it won't be in Worlds as well. If you see me in Worlds with a AV Rillaboom, it's
That's not
me.
Michael.
It's an
That's an imposter. He's been replaced.
Yeah. Exactly. But also, let's be honest, it's also due to Chiempo why this set is even better. Also with Zamazenta, like many pieces of the team wouldn't work without the Chiempo, and that's why this is also on the team. But yeah, that's just something I also wanted to mention.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the all the decisions on this team were made very deliberately by Michael Zhang. You know, shout outs to that guy, big part of this channel. And so, yeah, we'll definitely talk more about this team, you know, at some point when I get him on again. But let's talk about some of the other teams that made it into Top Cut here. The Redder Up team, Ogrepon Cornerstone almost took it again. I guess you could also say Terapagos almost took it again. That is the one that actually got second twice in a row. But Cornerstone here too. I thought that was actually pretty cool. Anyways, the rest.
It turns out that.
Go ahead, Adi.
I was gonna say, it turns out that when you're playing a sort of hyper offensive team like this one is, or leaning towards, having 2 focus sashes is really good, right? In this format where everything OHKOs everything, yeah, two sash mons does a lot of work for you. It's just hard to power through, and it lets you guarantee that you're going to get 6 attacks off over the course of a game. That's all you need with a team that has Chiyu, Terapagos, Fluttermane, Tornadus, Ogrepon. So yeah, I think this is a cool innovation. I would not be shocked to see a lot more Rock Pawn across several different teams that are trying to out-tempo your opponent.
Yeah.
It was already the most used Ogrepon, like in terms of CP earning teams. There were more Rock Pawns than all other Ogrepons combined. And it was on like a good like what's 17 over 20? It was on 13% of the team, so it was used a good amount just by itself. Like, yeah, it's just good.
Let's be honest, though. What's your opinion on Shadow Ball Speed Booster Fluttermane? When I ran the calcs, they were so sad. For example, Terra Ghost Shadow Rider only takes 60 from Shadow Ball from Fluttermane. It's like if you are no special attack Fluttermane, which he wasn't. Like he ate these Icy Crashes and these Glacial Lances on stream, so he had to be defensive Fluttermane. So what's your opinion on that?
There's other moves that it wants, but I think that you're allowed to spend some of your team's tech space on Shadow Rider, and that's a reasonably good way to hit Shadow Rider in the builder. So I don't really mind it.
But also,
I don't think
pretty
it's
happy.
great, but it's fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy that he dropped Sleep Talk of Terapagos, because I think when you want Sleep Talk, like you have to use Sleep Talk, and then if you stay and you wake up, you're kind of screwed. And if you switch, and then you don't use Sleep Talk, but when you sleep, I feel like you want the other 4 moves. But maybe you can tell us more because you used Sleep Talk last week.
Nick, did you click Sleep Talk at all?
No, of course not. No, Sleep Talk is there like 90% just for OTS bait. Like I have Sleep Talk. You probably shouldn't try to figure out a game plan where you can sleep my Terapagos. Don't worry about it. Just go for something else. That's like genuinely 90% of the reason it's there and why I've used Choice Sleep Talk in the past. Like it's really awkward to switch out and then switch back in and then lock into Sleep Talk and then hope the sleep rolls and the RNG goes your way. Like it's not the worst game plan, but it's really not the best.
Yeah.
It's also go ahead.
I said I have gotten Sleep Talk off once. I brought some variant to the team to a doubleheader midseason, and got first and second with it. And I clicked Sleep Talk once, and it was in a game where I got put to sleep. I got I had to switch out, right? Switch out, switch back in. You have to try to make sure that your other Pokemon don't get put to sleep in the meantime when you're doing all the switching. And then finally, I think I got to click Sleep Talk when I called that they would spore the Terapagos so that I wouldn't get a free switch. And of course, I Dark Pulse to Koraidon immediately. That's the only time I got Sleep Talk off the entire weekend. Was just the worst move in that situation. So yeah, like I agree. I think Sleep Talk is not a move that you ever really get to click in any meaningful way. Even when you click it, you got to get a little lucky to hope that you hit the right move into the right Pokemon. And just having a third option like Hyper Beam, I think is the one that was dropped, or Earth Power. I forgot which one. But having all those options, they all come up. I think that they all have situations where they come up. And so it is nice to have all those options and not have to rely on something like Sleep Talk, especially when you have a Follow Me Rock Pawn as a secondary way of dealing with Amoonguss.
Let's go Rock Pawn.
Audie, on this topic, how much usage do you get out of the coverage moves? Because the other option for Sleep Talk is just to run Starstorm Sleep Talk, and I think that set is like really misunderstanding the Pokemon.
So Earth Power, I think, is the one you click the least. I think the one time I clicked it, I Earth Powered a Garganacl and KO'd it.
Less.
I think Dark
I
Pulse
don't
gotta be less, right?
No.
Yeah.
So for me, the way I like to play Terapagos is the way I like to play Terapagos is I like to try to keep it in Terra Shell for as long as possible. You really want to use the burst to its maximum effect when oftentimes when it's a 2v3 or 2v2 and your opponent's trapped with the weather on the field, trapped with the terrain on the field, right? And just clicking Terra Starstorm is pretty good, but against ghost types, you don't really get to click it. So sometimes you really do just want to throw off a baby Dark Pulse into a Caloric Shadow or into an Ice Rider or something. Actually, Terra Starstorm is stronger than Ice Rider, but there's a couple Pokemon that you want to just kind of fire off Dark Pulses into.
Just Shadow Rider, and as we learned, Shadow Rider is a Thwartmon.
I feel like I've definitely clicked it in other things. I also have clicked it to get the flinch, and I have gotten the flinch. So when you have two Dark Pulses on the team, you can just say, yeah, I got 2 chances to get this Dark Pulse flinch. And sometimes you get.
Fair.
I think you're not allowed to run Starstorm, Earth Power, Hyper Beam, Sleep Talk because Pelipper is immune to ground, and so having the only moves that you can touch it with Baby Starstorm is fine, but like if you have to use Big Starstorm and then switch out and then hit a Pelipper, like you do need a single target move that can hit the guy, and Dark Pulse is just generally an okay move to lock into.
Yeah, some people were using Flamethrower now.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say I looked at the Nils team too, which is a very different take on this storm.
Yeah, we will talk about the team. I think right now that's a good transition.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's what I can't remember exactly. Nils got top 8, but yeah, we'll jump around a bit. Let's talk about Nils' team. Nils' team is a different take on the specs to roll. Also, guys, bear with me 1 second. Audie, I want to do one more quick audio test thing. Audie, just say a sample sentence right now. Guys, do you hear it? All right, that's a lot. That's plenty. Let's just. Oh, they don't hear it. Okay, dang, that is actually so troll.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Anyways, let's get back to it. You guys can keep talking. I was just trying to fix something, but go ahead.
Life Orb, Terra Dragon.
Life Orb Terra Dragon is insane.
Weakening your own dragon energy, and also no Earth Power. Like it's 3 dragon moves. Yeah, this set looks crazy.
So we ran the calcs. It turns out the first dragon energy is just stronger because your life orb compared to a dragon fang, which is the obvious alternative. The second one is pretty much just as strong, 90% dragon energy versus 100% dragon fang. And like the thought process there is, if they're letting me click dragon energy 3 times, I'm probably winning the game. So that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Fair. I guess.
Like
I think
the
there are also
chip is a little relevant, but it's just more damage, and I think there are some relevant calcs for it.
Yeah, maybe like Helping Hand, drain energy into Calyrex Eyes and stuff.
Yeah, that type of calc. Like, you don't need to Terra to get that kill, I think is the calc
Mhm.
off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's basically like this is what Nils kind of used in Stuttgart in Regulation E to get into finals in Stuttgart. He also used Tailwind, Urshifu, Ogapon, Reggie Drago. I mean, the team made the waves, right? It also was used in some US regionals. Justin Tang used it to get into top 8. There was this one region where the team was like 3 times represented in top 8. But it's an interesting approach to like punish with fairy terrors, not with gold angle here, but with Terrapagos. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But with flamethrower, it's just also what caught my eye. And I just think, what's flamethrower for? Among Us?
Gotta hit the steel types. You need the pin with Reggie
You gotta
Drago.
hit Ferrothorn, gotta hit
Ferrothorn.
Katana.
All right,
Um,
guys. There's something that this team is missing that would be absolutely based. It'd be hard to find the move slot for it, but we were talking
Yeah.
the other day about running fake out on the Indeedee.
Oh no! Yeah,
So-
I was able to win against Nils in Top Cut just because with Willaboom I just led and spammed Grassy Glide, but Fake Out would have prevented that.
It's pretty funny. The
Yeah.
idea is that because you can, like, I mean, you might also just get your terrain overwritten at some point too. But Indeedee can go for fake out on the turn Terrapagos Terras and gets rid of all the terrains, and your opponent,
Cool.
like, even in open team sheet, might not see it coming because, like, then
Didn't
they have
also
to,
think about it.
like, they'll see it, but like, how do they cover for it? Are they gonna be like, well, I might get faked out, or they might just not Terra and then hit you with a single target Starstorm plus like a helping hand? You lost your Pokemon, like, I don't know. It's just kind of funny.
It,
That's
Yeah,
not
no,
Trick
that-
Room at
that
that point.
that genuinely sounds really good. I'd cut Trick Room for that. Like, just no, like, I'm very comfortable saying that's stronger than Trick Room on Indeedee. Like, that just sounds powerful. The turn ones are just pretty impressive, honestly.
No. You said
Like
you're
that-
missing the
that
vision.
one's
You
in the
sell
building.
score to get 16 more Terra Starstorms. I have a anecdote that is related to yesterday's stream with Nick, where we were playing with Pressure Giratina, and we PP stalled the opposing Calyrex out of Glacial Lances. But I want you to know that because they got to click 4 Glacial Lances, all of our other Pokemon were dead. And
I just wanted to say, like, if your Pokemon gets so many moves off, I don't know.
and so, like, I know you're just like kind of fooling around, but I just thought it was funny because I was like, dang, we can PP stall these low PP 8 PP moves, and it's like if you take 4 of these usually very strong moves, that kind of already did the job, and it was really unfortunate. I was so happy that we had successfully done it, and then we got KO'd by high horsepower.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a tournament set I had where I was playing a CSR with our Pressure Palkia. And I managed to stall it out of Astral Barrage PP, but I was not keeping track. And I had an Intin that had 1 HP left, and it was a 1v1. And they just didn't have a second way to hit it. And I thought I was going to lose. I was ready to forfeit. And then I just said, well, I might as well click an attack. And they just clicked a Psychic move. They couldn't do anything else. So it's funny. Yeah, Pressure comes up with these restricted Pokemon that have low PP moves. Water Spout,
Low
Astral
base
Barrage,
power, I
all
wish.
those guys.
Low base power, I wish.
Yeah.
That's true.
Next gen, where we'll have like 140 base power or something.
Yes, there's only one way to go. It's called up.
There's only one way to go, and it is the Gmax Duraludon. We should have run that.
I don't know if we mentioned it already on Nils' team, but I think that Whimsicott... people were kind of saying this at the beginning of Regulation G, that Whimsicott might show up to be the stronger Tailwind setter. I think both are doing pretty well for themselves, but I think it's this Encore option that is really breaking Whimsicott. There are a lot of Pokemon that, if they try to protect themselves for a turn, if they try to go for a certain support move, Encore can really simplify the game, and it's one of those support options that really can make or break boards with restricted Pokemon. I don't know. It's kind of hard to put into words without, just trying it out for yourself and practicing it, but you will find so many situations where Encore will lock your opponent out of the game.
That's one question. I don't know if I got that correctly, but let's say Champo is immune to Anchor, but let's say Champo can get Anchored, KOs Indeedee with Icicle Crash, and then you have Whimsy, Regidrago on the field, and you target the Regidrago with Icicle Crash. It can still get, like, it's a coin flip which Pokemon gets targeted, right?
If you pick the same move the turn you get Encored, it will respect your targeting.
Okay, but if I click, let's say, Icicle Crash, and next turn I click Sacred Sword, and I get anchored into Icicle Crash.
That will be a 50-50.
Okay, that's how it works. Okay.
Yeah. And while we're on the subject of it, Encore with priority moves can also be pretty funny. It will maintain the priority of the following move. I had a game where I had gone for Woodhammer into a Miraidon with my Rillaboom, and then the following turn I was going to finish it off with a Grassy Glide. My opponent, if they wanted to encore me into Woodhammer to, quote, stop me from clicking Grassy Glide at priority, it would fail. Because, like, the encore would succeed, but then the Woodhammer would carry over the Grassy Glide priority and go for an even stronger move, Woodhammer, at +1 priority.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, you can use this to your own advantage on certain teams. Like, this Urshifu, it's a Choice Scarf one, so it has Aqua Jet. It's not really going to be able to change moves, but... if you could find situations like that, I think the most notable one was like last generation people would use Quick Attack Zation to get off a priority +1 Behemoth Blade, +1 priority. And you can get really crafty with it, but you also have to be careful when you're going up against people. We've seen like Raging Bolts go for, Thunderclap, and then like they're getting off a priority Draco or something, Anyways,
you know what's also funny? A mechanic that also not many people know. I was using Whimsicott Urshifu Single Strike, and you can anchor, a prankster anchor your own dark types,
Yes.
so you can get off the same Wicked Blow. Like I was using Life Orb Terra Dark Urshifu, and then I had a one-time priority Wicked Blow, and my opponents just looked at me and were like, "You cheater."
Yeah, really though. That does sound like you're cheating, but that is actually how the game works.
Yeah.
You don't get to target it, but it's still...
That's true. You don't get to pick where it's aiming. That is something you have to watch out for, I guess. Is if you really need it to hit a specific slot, then it is still a coin flip.
Yeah, also interesting about the top cut, getting back to the topic, the top cut consisted of 2 Terrapagos, 2 Miraidon, 2 Zamazenta, and 2 Calyrex Eyes. And no one faced each other like in, actually there was a Miraidon against Miraidon in top 8, I'm capping, but yeah.
I think you're also double capping. I swear the Ice Riders played in top 8.
That's absolutely true, but the Zamas both played against... the Zamas played against Terrapagos, Joji against Donald, and me against Nils.
Yes. But I'm glad you pointed this out, because like this was where my head was at for like the top 4 restricteds, I guess, and it's so funny that they are like just double represented across this, like evenly, 2 each.
Yeah.
Sadly, Shadow Rider has fallen down to like top 5 or 6 in my opinion. It's been a little bit rough for that mon. If
number 6. What's number 5?
What's number 5? Probably like Kyogre. Honestly, Kyogre had a very poor showing at this tournament.
Yeah. Scroll down to day 2.
Tell me what the top Kyogre.
Oh God, Kyogre is Kyogre a fraud? Wait, hold on. One Kyogre bubbled into top 32. It got 32nd place.
Yeah, there was one Kyogre in day 2, one Groudon, one what was it? Koraidon, and one Lunala.
And one Zacian, right?
Yeah, Zacian, not Lunala. Lunala is fraud.
Oh my God! Wait, so
Lunala,
I guess it might just be 5th for Shadow Rider. I made a tier list yesterday with Nick, and I'd have to go back and find it, but wow, that is so funny.
I was talking to Rajan earlier in Team India, and I think we all kind of agree, or maybe we don't all agree, but at this point, I strongly feel that Terrapagos and Ice Rider are the 2 best restricteds. And then I think that you probably have a pretty strong argument that Miraidon and Zamazenta, and I really do think CSR is as powerful as those 2. But so far, in terms of results, Miraidon and Zamazenta are, I feel like, a step below those guys. And then CSR and Kyogre and Koraidon and whatever, Groudon or what else, right? Like those guys are all kind of a step below those big four. Again, I really do think CSR is probably in that top 5. We're just waiting to see it. It's kind of underperformed, but yeah, I think that
So
that's probably my ordering.
There are still 3 more
CSR,
teams. Oh yeah, go ahead, Nick.
yeah, no, CSR is like if people stop paying attention to it, it's gonna pop off. But it's so easy to lock out of the game that it just has to find the right meta. Um, and people have been respecting it so far, so we're gonna follow that. I'll be following that pretty closely because depending on like where the wins go, it's gonna have a good tournament sooner or later. But it's still just being shut out of the meta right now.
Exactly. Also, there are still 3 more teams I would quickly go over with.
Yeah, let's do
For
it.
example, the top 8 Frederick Nielsen team. That's a slightly different approach for a Miraidon team. But he went 12-2 in Swiss, lost to a Miraidon mirror. Like, it was not a full mirror because we were using different teams. But this team is pretty good. Like, I played against it round 1. The Terra Ground Tornadoes is pretty smart because many people want to check Miraidon with Rillaboom or with Terra Grass in general. And when you have a Pokemon that can punish it better than Whimsicott, I think, and with Taunt, you can also shut down White Guards as well. I mean, you have Anchor as well, but Taunt also helps, obviously. And then with Scarf, Terra Ground, Chiyu, like this combination of Chiyu and Miraidon is also so scary if you don't have White Guard. And yeah, then we've got Iron Hands instead of Incineroar on the team as well, which also is super scary in terrain. Even without terrain, you can get up the Trick Room for the Ursaluna as well. So a very well-rounded team, and I'm not surprised that it was so good in Swiss with 12-2.
I think this team didn't go all the way, but I think it has one of the more noteworthy sets to come out of this tournament, this Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu has been a Pokemon that's been doing well in Regulation G, but one thing that is really good about it, this Terra Ground set, is it's very good into, both of the restricteds that won the 2 majors we've talked about so far, Indianapolis and Stockholm. Chi-Yu, very solid into Zamazenta, and Chi-Yu with a Terra Ground can be very annoying for Miraidon. We went and looked at the calcs, and because Miraidon doesn't actually run a Terra to get around ground type damage.
I'm not running Fairy.
Yeah,
but that sucks.
I think Fairy
not
is
running
just
that
like cap,
anymore.
because then you don't get the Oko and Incineroar with Volt Switch or whatever. That's the fun part. But if you get hit by a Terra Ground Blast, you do just die on your Miraidon. It just takes 100. I mean, this is a Chi-Yu after all.
Yeah, it also helps against Incin, and you can click Discharge Heat Waves with your own Miraidon,
Right.
and just have some fun with Beats of Ruin, Miraidon, and Chi-Yu on the field. Also, like electric fire coverage, electric for waters, fire for the grasses. It's just super good.
And I think Scarf, I mean, we saw Andrew use Scarf on a totally different team, but it's super cool to see that become maybe the predominant Chi-Yu set, where, having a Snarl that is faster than Caloric Shadow is pretty good. Having that fast Heat Wave to clean up games, especially in teams that maybe even want to set Sun up, is really strong. We haven't really seen Scarf Chi-Yu in any of the past formats that it's been legal for, and I'm honestly a little surprised that we haven't, because it does just seem like a very inherently strong
It was
Pokemon.
good on 222.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, Chi-Yu is still Chi-Yu. You have to hit your moves, right?
Right, a little bit of that. But when it does,
you have
so
3
strong.
games and you have to win 2. Just hit 2 out of 3. It's fine.
That's fine. It's true.
Cheese moves aren't that inaccurate.
They're a bit more accurate than 66%.
Yep.
That's how that math works. Actually, I don't know. It's like, anyways.
I doubt it. Yeah.
We skipped over one of the top 4 teams, and that's Marco's team. Marco's team, I don't think there's a lot to say about, the Calyrex, Incin, Amoonguss, and Bolt. Those are guys that are often paired together on Calyrex teams. Golden Go we did see on the team that won the Victory Road Spring Challenge. But the Urshifu Dark is something that was really cool after trying it out myself. The Urshifu Dark is really good at breaking the mirror. A lot of Calyrex Ice going into this tournament, I imagine, were running that Grass Terra as it had done so well in Indianapolis. But if you're being threatened by a Wicked Blow and you're also, next to a Calyrex Ice, you can't Terra Grass. You'll take a Glacial Lance, and you can't stay your normal typing. You'll take way too much from that Wicked Blow. Kind of same could be said for Golden Go. This team feels like it really preys on the mirror, and obviously it did well against everything else. Marco had an insane record throughout Swiss. I think went 13-1, only losing to Donald with the Zamazenta, which definitely can be tricky for it.
This was funny because Lorenzo Alemania was using the same team, and in the same round, Donald and I sat next to each other, and we were playing against Marco and Lorenzo. So we had the same team against the same team, and we both won. But what's interesting about Marco's team is the Terra Normal on Goldango. I think he used this team in the E-Parrots tournament already, like 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
At least V6. And then he kept it hidden a bit. Made some changes like Terrafire, Among Us, Terra Normal, Goldango. The problem I have with the team, and that's what you can see in the top 4 match as well, in the stream match against Joji, the team is a bit slow. Obviously it's a Trick Room team, but it's just not bulky enough to withstand, for example, Chiyu Terrapagos.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Pointing out that Marco did play Joji the last round of day 1, so they both had some experience in that matchup. So yeah, it seems like Joji kind of figured it out, because that felt like a very one-sided set when I was watching top 4.
Yeah, same. That's why I pointed it out.
I honestly think it was just Joji got the calls right in top 4.
Typical
Like I don't think it's if they played it again, I don't think Marco would be extremely heavily unfavored. He just I think he happened to lose the one in top 4, and probably happened to win the one in Swiss too.
Shane, thank you for the sub, by the way. Welcome to Sub Nation. Yeah, I mean, also Michael, you did you also play Donald, or not Donald? Did you also play Marco the round after Marco played Donald, or was that 2 rounds after?
2 rounds after, because after the round I played Lorenzo, I played Donald, and then I played Marco. So
right.
we kind of well.
Oh man, it's just so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't seem like it was too one-sided one way or the other for that matchup. Even though Zamazenta is generally favored into Calyrex Ice, Marco definitely figured out some options
I was
for beating
not favored. It was like 70-30. But he played like a god and got a bit lucky, but that's the game. I don't complain. But he played like a god, so he played better and just won. But I would still say I was like 70-30 favored. But yeah.
Okay, so
also,
the last.
So if we want to,
go ahead.
I want to talk about just a little. It's kind of a separate note about Ice Rider, so I can make it later, I guess.
Might as well make it now. Let's do it.
Yeah, sure.
You mean
so the Terra types on the Ice Riders is a little funny. Specifically the day 2 Ice Riders, there were 2 Terra Water, 4 Terra Grass, and 1 Terra Dragon. And amongst the day 2 field, the Terra Grass all went 9 and 5, and then the Terra Waters were in top 8, and the Terra Dragon was 10 and 4, top 16. So it might just be the way the field panned out or shook out, but like Terra Grass was the most common in the field, and was overwhelmingly common at Indy, and just seeing Marco and who was the other one?
Lorenzo.
Buck that trend and ride their horse slightly further.
Mhm.
It was kind of cool to see.
I gotta say though,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I gotta say, when we saw that top 4 set between Marco and Joji, Marco was, kind of wishing he was Grass. I feel, the whole set long.
Yeah.
We kept looking at the situations where it was like, okay, Marco just sets Trick Room here, and he doesn't, and I kept questioning it. I was like, man, like Trick Room would go so well here, but Joshi always had that Amoonguss just lying in wait in the back, and basically was just going to let something get KO'd so Amoonguss could come in Trick Room, start sporing everything, and all the momentum would be reversed immediately, even if Marco did get up that Trick Room. And I think that Terra Grass was like sorely missed there. There might be other ways that you can team build to compensate for certain teams like Suika's, like Joji's. But yeah, I think that was like the most like prominent set where I was like, you know, he got this far with Terra Water, so obviously there's some strength to it. But this matchup was begging for grass.
It was.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are just the trade-offs you make. Like,
Absolutely.
and no choice is going to be perfect in every matchup. But yeah, just an interesting little statistic. And like, grass is still going to be the most common moving forward. But you do get things from other terras. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know that like just the Chiyu Terapagos also, or not even Chiyu Terapagos, just Chiyu by itself, it gets a lot more freedom to just like overheat the slot if it's Terra Grass, and so
Yes.
there's
That's true.
there's stuff that you, pinning ice and grass is like really pretty straightforward, and
Mm-hmm.
pinning ice and water is a lot more difficult.
Yeah, and the last team I wanted to talk about is the number 10 team, Teemu Mankinen, Terra Dragon, Calyrex.
The one we just mentioned,
already.
yeah.
Yeah. What is this abomination?
Right? I can't explain it.
Yeah, it's I mean, this is the solution if you're going to drop Terra Grass on your Calyrex. You're going to be vulnerable to Spore, so just run Safeguard Milotic. That's the solution.
It
That
is.
It's
was
just that easy.
really heat.
You can also trick a Lagging Tail onto Amoonguss and then Glacial Lance it in Trick Room. That's another solution.
It is pretty based. Remind me, does Lagging Tail not take place until the next turn? I thought it was.
Yeah, it does. It's not dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Kind of funny that way. When we were talking about those encore mechanics earlier, that feels also pretty strange, but you know, Pokemon's not an easy game to learn. There are a lot of very niche situations that you have to memorize, basically. In case they come up, or if you are trying to force them, you can abuse people not remembering them. Lagging Tail is one of those. You might be able to catch people forgetting, you know, from the Dynamax era that Lagging Tail doesn't trigger immediately. Pretty funny. But yeah, this team has a lot of strange stuff, and you know, we also have another Terra Dark Moltres. I remember talking with ESM. He was pissed that Moltres didn't make the usage screenshot. It was tied.
Oh yeah.
It was tied. Let me go to the Victory Road page. But
meanwhile,
Moltres was at 4 uses out of in day 2, and everything else like
3 of them were his team, and then we have his Specs Motus as well.
Yes.
With foul play, Specs foul play, my gold.
Yeah.
I mean, there was probably some suggestions, but yeah.
There was a 6-way tie for 4 uses.
Exactly.
And between Chiyu, Farigiraf, Moltres, Ursaluna, Urshifu, and Whimsicott. And I don't know which ones they actually ended up putting on, but I think they only get to put on 2 or 3 of them.
They got 4 of them. Giraffe, Whim, Ursaluna, and Urshifu Dark made the graphic, but ESM was like, bro, why couldn't they just put Moltres in there? It would be so much more exciting.
Just throw out the Urshifu.
Right?
It is way cooler than any of those 4 Pokemon.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Whimsicott's a new face, but like, still.
Wasn't Whimsicott also in top 10 in day 1?
Was it what?
Probably. Or maybe.
Top 10 in day 1?
Whimsicott
yes,
10th.
it was. Yeah, it was 10th on the day 1 graphic.
They just wanted none of the Pokemon to change. They just wanted them to shift around, and
literally
they could have included a couple of different Mons. Who were the 2 that got left out of? You said there was a 6-way tie.
There was a Chiyu, and then there was the Moltres.
Okay. Yeah, Chiyu. Get Chiyu and Moltres in there. Why not? Just cut out 2 of the guys that were there already. Like, people aren't gonna forget that those Pokemon are common. Like, it would just be funny to see that. Like, forgetting the ones that they cut out. You know, take out like Giraffe.
This was probably Galar Moltres' best shot to make it into one of these graphics, and they just Galar Moltres has a hater on this stat.
You don't think it's gonna be on every team at LA?
That's true.
I think it's probably going to approach Instant here. Instant was at 60% day 1, 62 day 2. I think we could probably see at least 70 Moltres at this next tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, I
can
know
see.
Instant is kind of washed, so people are going to have to replace the Dark type on their team with something else, like maybe Moltres.
And it can flinch too. Like people like Fake Out. Well, this can flinch both of their Pokemon. Why would you not just do that?
Yeah.
Fiery Rat.
I also got another fun fact about the tournament.
Yeah.
We had a world record. I don't know about last generations, but in Skull and Violet there was one person who made 4 consecutive top cuts in a row. Even in EYC he top cutted, and now he finished 9th and bubbled out, and his streak is gone. But having like 4 top cuts in a row is crazy, and that's Aurelian. I mean, do you have someone in mind who has like 5 top cuts in a row? Because on like the Ben build ladder, he is number 1 with top cuts in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Did
if I can
Emilio
just
get
feel-
5 top cuts in a row? Because
No.
he cut Worlds, and then he missed Internets, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah, he missed an
exactly, and that's interesting at least. And he did it with a Sowlet. With Koraidon counter, he saw the Koraidon coming.
We have 2 quick
Nick had
questions.
3, right?
We have 2 quick questions from chat. The first one I misread. I thought Rizzy was asking what kind of spread move would you guys recommend for Moltres, and I was like, "There's only one," but no, it's what kind of spread.
Hey,
There's 2.
Snarl's okay.
Does it get Snarl? It probably
Kind
does.
of
Right?
learn Snarl.
I'd be
Hell
shocked
no.
if
Does
it
it get
doesn't.
Snarl?
Wait,
Yeah,
it doesn't?
does it get?
Wait,
you
can a
went
bird
Carter?
snarl at you? Now I'm very curious. Showdown's down. Somebody check this for me, but the team builder
It
still
cannot.
works.
I mean, I would know that.
Anyways,
I'm
for what kind of
betting
spread to
my
run on
whole
it, I don't want to give away ESM's exact spread, but I would say just make sure you have a good amount of special defense. The Pokemon is made to deal with Shadow Rider, but you don't want to go down to like 2 Astral Barrages plus some chip. You want to be able to make sure you can take those.
It does get Snarl. Fuck.
Yeah, it gets
Sorry
Snarl.
for,
You're good. You're
sorry
good.
for-
I can't believe it does though. Birds I don't think birds can snarl at you. Like
Mandibus gets
Google.
gets it.
Google search. I don't know if this is dangerous on stream. Can birds snarl? Ever heard a bird growl? Are there any birds that can growl?
Perhaps.
Thunderous can snarl. Torn can't, but Dundee can.
Are we like? Is Thunderous a bird?
I just searched for snarl flying, so that's the most fun one. that I
Murkrow
got.
gets snarl. That's true. It's a bird that also gets snarl. That's true. That's true.
Murkrow is a tree.
Hisui and Braviary can snarl as well, and that's the only other non-dark type that can.
Oh,
Snarl.
and the other thing, Nick, you'll find this one
Wonder.
amusing. Pokemon Ranger Emerald said the strategy that that Burns outlined that Suika was using, always attack them on without protect, is solid. It's so funny. It's so simple.
always works.
It can be exploited. Like if we saw it get exploited, but it's just so funny. It's just like, why not take damage where damage is damage? Legacy, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Top Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a really funny. Like just once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
And like, there's probably something to be learned from that, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
getting finals with that type of
Playstyle.
just playstyle, yeah. Like maybe I'm supposed to double into the guy that can't protect more often because Suika did it, and it worked for him.
I
So
pointed
it's
it out
just stuff to
yesterday,
think
but like
about
the
when you-
thing that stands out to me is Suika comes from playing, closed team sheet best of 1, where there is so much uncertainty, and so coming to the land of like open team sheet certainty, like you know everything, and then just taking those guarantees feels like, and then getting second, just like rolling up to a best of 3 open team sheet tournament, getting second, like almost winning the whole thing first try. Obviously, Suika is a very talented player, but I feel like you could really, like Nick is saying, like really hyper-analyze, like digest this whole run and learn a lot from it, from, just like transitioning to this different style and immediately finding success by doing something so simple.
Do you
Yeah,
think
so that-
Suika? Sorry.
Go ahead, Michael.
Do you think Suika will go to Bologna?
Oh, that's for you guys to worry about, bro. I don't have to deal with that.
Would be
would not be
fire. And
surprised
then he
if
gets
he
finals
never announced it.
again, and then he has and I see there are no waves left. So
Well,
and he said he isn't going.
He's listed as
okay.
Australian, right? And so he only 300 championship points, I think is the bar for them.
Yeah, exactly. So he just shows up to Bologna, goes finals again, and then
I believe
he's
it.
chilling.
I believe that if he really wants to go to Worlds, that I could see him attending another tournament. Whether that's,
Rico will be at LA. Gone.
That's-
Now you have to worry about
that's
it.
what I'm saying. Suika.
No, but that one I believe, because that is actually on the way back to either Australia or Japan, wherever he might be going.
Well, do you think that he would not just go home and fly out again? Like, surely it's insane to just be spending that much time away from home.
I don't know. It's a vacation, summer break, right? Like,
yeah.
We have seen Australian players spend time. See Australian players spend time in the U.S. and almost get the travel award. We saw like Taran and another European player stay in Australia for like 2 weeks to win a regional there. Like, I don't know. Everyone who has outside of North America just has so much more like PTO than Americans. It's crazy. They just have infinite time to take off and like have a fulfilling life, and Americans do not get that. So.
Right. No, I'm 100% with you on that.
I was gonna give a shout out to an Australian TCGer, Brent Tonnyson, known as Wet Goose Online, who's a pretty good friend of mine. He's just been farming American tournaments on the TCG side, like pretty consistently, like missed 1 or 2 day twos. I think I don't remember all of his finishes offhand, but I know he like either won a regional or made a finals at some point this year, and like he's just been farming travel awards, honestly, and going even on his like travel expenses plus like minus prize money, like and it's been really fun.
I want to address
like,
2
watch
things
him
from
go.
the chat, or actually 3 at this point, but
No ploppy, just no.
I wanted to ask Michael about Ho-Oh, but first off, Shane,
Nah.
Shane, is that actually like a fact? Do you know that, or were you just saying that like Suika will be at LA? And then Pokemon Ranger Emerald said, we saw Europeans like do NAIC and then the regional before. That was only 1 week apart, so I think that's like a bit more justified. What we're talking about here is 2 weeks apart, and if you were to do that for this year as well, LA and NAIC are 2 weeks apart. That's a bit different than 1 week, in my opinion. Adi, sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to respond to Ploppy that, earlier in the podcast, Michael made a really good point, which is that when you look at how restricteds match up with other restricteds, you can't just say, oh, Ho-Oh like 1v1's Koraidon, therefore it beats Koraidon. That's not really like how it works, right? You have to look at all the other Pokemon that are on the team and how they interact. And Ho-Oh just does not do as much damage as these other restricteds and doesn't enable as many other Pokemon as these other restricteds. And so, like, yeah, Ho-Oh does beat Koraidon, but all the Koraidon teams have a Walking Wake or a Raging Bolt on them that are really going to threaten the Ho-Oh, right? So you have to kind of consider how it fits in there. And yeah, so that's why I think a lot of these restricteds that are maybe individually strong, that might have individual 1v1 matchups that are pretty good, that might see play in a 2 restricted format. We see Rayquaza, we see Zacian, stuff like that, are probably not going to be as good in 1 restricted, because what they really got to do is enable all their partners or really take over a game.
I was going to say, I'd like to bring it back to what Nick said the other day. Nick, if you don't mind repeating it, it was maybe today that you want your restricteds to beat the not restricteds.
Yeah, so you need your guy to carry the game, and you do that by farming the non-restricteds. And my goat, Xerneas, was the absolute best we've ever seen at just kicking aside all the little guys and one-shotting them with +2 Moonblast. But yeah, a lot of the top restricteds that we've seen are also very efficient at just spamming spread moves and just being a damage pump and just winning damage races. And Ho-Oh is terrible at damage races when it's not playing 1v1. It's very efficient at taking hits and wins the damage trades 1v1, but that's not what this format asks for.
People having flashbacks hearing about Xerneas. Michael, what did you want to say?
There are 2 things. One, Ho-Oh also just gets blown up by Terrafire Flare Blitz. Make the Calcs.
Yeah, I believe it.
Second, here, Wizzy just mentioned it, Cerulet was it. I mean, we saw Cerulet in top 16. We also saw a Chandelure, Jamie Boyd, once again, cooking.
Okay, no, I don't want to beat down on Boyd too hard, but the guy did go 5-4. Like, when people were like, this guy's cooking, I'm like, yeah, he's cooking his way to a finish that... Did it even earn points?
He was 5-1, though, so...
He was 5-1. But like
I mean,
what
the-
5-1
it's
tells me is that he
flawed.
didn't play against real teams until he got deep into the tournament.
It's so flawed that I mean, I don't judge anyone, but this tournament showed that some 4-3 drops as well as 4-5 players got points.
Okay, the 4-3 drop. Adi loves this, where it's like, when is it optimal to just drop instead of playing out? And these people made
4-3.
the right call. I had this on screen the whole time, by the way, and we just have not yet talked about it. The Serial Edge. The Serial Edge from Aurelian's team is so funny.
It's pretty bad, but he made top 16 with it.
We tried it, right, Nick? We tried it yesterday on stream, and
we did try out Sarah Lodge.
and I think we still lost to a Zamazenta team. It was maybe not its fault. It had like a Chi Yu or
I
something.
mean, I played also Aurelian my win it in day 1. So
Right,
I
but you
also
have a
had
mole
Zamazenta.
trace, and most Zama teams aren't supposed to have a mole trace.
Okay, that's a fair point.
They kind of are, honestly. Yeah.
At this point,
Well,
that's no longer true. Yes.
I mean, doesn't
Okay,
also just Raging Bolt beat Serolage? Like, I don't know.
Yes,
I
it
guess,
does.
yeah, Raging Bolt was pretty good into it. Cerulege is a little. Rajan and I were testing it in Reg D, and it's just an underwhelming Pokemon because it always does a little less damage than you want it to, and it always takes a little more damage than you want it to. But yeah, its typing is excellent, and I think specifically on Terapagos, it's cool because unlike a lot of these sort of build around Pokemon that you really want to commit your Terra to, Cerulege is the opposite. It is only good because of its typing. Its typing is excellent. And therefore, it really doesn't want to Terra.
Fire Ghost excellent, to be honest.
It's a pretty good defensive typing right now, especially with Flash Fire. That combination is very strong.
Mhm.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just like, man, it doesn't do quite enough damage. Look at its coverage, not running Poltergeist for the extra damage, running Shadow Sneak to kind of chip away at those CSRs, maybe. And yeah, it's like it is a cool idea, but I just can't imagine that most Pokemon nowadays can't just like outpace it. You really have to wall the restricted if you're not going to.
So
If you're going to try to win that slowly.
the thing that I want to say about this, if you're trying to checkmate a restricted, what you have to do in order to do that is you have to just kill 3 Pokemon really quickly, and Aurelian's team is really good at killing 3 Pokemon really quickly, and then having a Cerulege in the back that can just say, "Bro, what are you doing? We're 1v1."
Yeah.
Like telling the Zamazenta 1v1 me, bro. When
that
you've
makes
already
sense.
removed 3 Mons is like how you have to play the guy, and Aurelian's team leans into that pretty well. So I like that aspect of the Cerulege here. Not going to endorse them on, but I think he was using it like in the best possible position for it.
Agree.
Also, gotta be mentioned, Eric
No,
Rios,
no, it's
Alex
with me
Gomez both brought Zamazenta. They just once again Eric Rios taking ESM's team and saying, I can do it better, and then failing to do so. I'm sorry, I have to say it. It's just so funny. Like Eric was like, a big fan of Como after ESM had shown it off, and this is much different. This is not at all ESM's team, but it's just so funny that they both kind of like are drawn to the same types of strategies, I guess.
What if we took the wild team that this guy cooked and it got revealed at the last tournament, and then we just made it completely boring?
Normified the
Instant-
fuck out of it. Like literally,
Instant, Rillaboom, Starburst, get in there, boys. Let's go.
we are going to season this with salt and pepper. That is all we are doing today. This is we are keeping it tame.
I remember Alex playing against Suika, and Alex was using the same team, right? It
Yes.
was a game, let's say that.
A game.
I mean, Alex squeezed into top 16, so I'm happy for him, as well as Victor.
I was so hyped when I saw Patrick Dawson's 6 Pokemon, because I was like, okay, finally somebody has started to cook up the hyper offense version of Smeargle. My brain also for a second was like, could this even be Clangorous Soul Como? No, it's just I mean, I think Body Press is still very good with Shadow Rider, but the Shadow Rider is calm. And I was like, dang.
Why is it Throat Chop, bro?
Calm mind. Throat Chop is pretty funny though.
This is the type of team where I wish we didn't have access to the open sheets. Like,
I would
it's
take
just
the
so.
6. I would fill them in, and I'd be like, "Dang, this is so fun! We're doing some crazy
I
stuff."
hate the instant set. Seriously.
The instant is very funny.
Never
I'll
meet
give
your
him that.
heroes.
Uh, the claim is we're a rain team. I'm setting up rain dance a lot. Fire moves are bad, so we're gonna run snarl and knockoff.
Ploppy,
Yeah.
you can't just keep suggesting all the bad restricteds. Lunala's
Oh,
like
no.
okay, but like, why are we psyching up with Lunala? We could psych up with like
Yeah.
Shadow Rider or something.
Mewtwo.
You know what Pokemon can go with Lunala and get like a huge boost without clicking a move, right? You just run Ursaluna.
That's
and,
true.
And you just do damage
that
without
guy is
clicking
boring.
Soul.
I would use Clang with Soul Psych Up.
Yeah, Clanger Soul Psych Up's so much more exciting, Audie. You're so dumb for
Also,
suggesting it. Oh my God.
okay,
another
but
fun fact,
can we-
one
Like
last
Blue
fun
has won in internets before.
If you're running Psych Up next to your setup mon, just run Sinistra, right? You can click redirection, you can heal up your Pokemon when you set up, and then you can immediately psych it up, and it's way better than using your restricted to do it. How about that?
Okay, yes, of course. Sinistra is hype.
One last fun fact: there were an insane amount of people who missed their win and in. Like Victor missed his win and in. Like he lost in his last round. Alex lost on his last round. Roy Gomez Garcia lost on his last round, and everything went accordingly to my way. If two of them won, I would have been in top cut, and that's what I mean with everyone in the chat. Listen, you just have to have some luck sometimes. Sometimes it's not in your hands.
The way that your
you
point
can obviously
started,
play better, and yeah.
the way that your point started, Michael, you were like, so many people lost their win-and-ins. I was about to blow your mind with the craziest fact. You're not going to believe this. Half of the players in the tournament lose round 1.
That's crazy. Oh wait, really?
Yeah, literally, like it's like half the field. I swear.
Whoa.
Damn, that feels like is that a European thing? I feel like
I think it's a
less than half
European
people
thing. We
lose.
don't lose that much over here in the
Yeah,
U.S.
European
I feel like
Yeah,
like closer to like 60 or 75 of the players here win round 1.
Yeah.
Not even close.
It's insane, but yeah, I think around half the people do lose their win and ends, and around half the people do win their.
No, but whatever.
That's what Crash Showdown. Too many people are winning.
I mean, like it was like nah. I just stopped. Now, we were like playing against opponents where
Playing against
both
opponents?
of them were 9-4. We were, like when two people play, there are two people that are 9-4, okay, and then there's one with a good resistance and then with a bad resistance, and then the one with a good resistance would make top cut, and then the one with a bad resistance would make top 16 but not top cut.
Right.
And all the candidates for top cut lost. Yeah. That was the fun fact. But literally all candidates lost.
You never know in those situations. You never ever know, right? Like you can be pretty sure, but I forgot one regional. I think Andrew Ding went on stream and he was like, "Yeah, like I'm definitely, even if I win, I'm not going to make top cut." Like didn't play super hard, lost, and then realized he would have made top cut if he had won. Because just like sometimes, yeah, like you said, everyone with a good res sometimes loses. It just happens.
Yeah, you think you might be a lock, and then literally just your whole schedule loses or something, or your whole schedule wins, and then you're just like,
So
oh, what?
So don't be too happy too early, and also don't be too upset too early. But because I was super upset after my set because I felt like it was unwinnable, and I was super sad after being 10-2, losing 2 again, missing top cut again, just as an EOIC, losing 3 in a row, and then being super upset, and then realizing, why was I so upset if it didn't matter in the end? So that's something I wanted to give on your way.
Captain Aro, thank you for the raid. How's it going, y'all? We're in the middle of our podcast uptake, so we're gonna stick with it. But thank you guys for joining. I wanted to answer Ploppy's question because it was another good one. What are the thoughts on IDs and VGC? I personally think Wide Guard is the better move for Zamazenta right now.
You mean Protect?
No. What were you gonna say, Adi?
He means intentional draws.
I know he
that
means
was-
intentional
that was-
draws. I thought you were. I didn't
I
know if
wasn't
the
sure.
cut meant like don't talk about it, or if the cut meant like this is a bad like you don't know what he's saying. But no, it was a bit. It was a bit. Absolutely.
No,
I knew it was
I
intentional.
wasn't sure because it's more of a TCG thing. But yeah, no, we should not have IDs. It is a bad. It is not generally good for the game. It means that people with different goals want different things, right? Like not people. So, like for example, right, if you're playing your winning in, some number of people are just gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm content making day 2. 6-2-1 makes day 2. I'm willing to scoop my last round. But if you're trying to win the tournament, you obviously don't want that. And different people have different goals. It sucks to. It's not inherently a bad thing, but like it is an awkward situation you don't want to put people in. And then the same thing with top cut. It just means that you have lower stakes in a lot of these matches, and it doesn't really solve the problem of resistance if you have IDs and not like actual draws in the field. And so, yeah, I just in general, I would say that it's not a good structure for VGC. There's definitely needs to be some revamping, looking at how resistance works and whatnot, how day 2 works, but I don't think IDs is the solution.
Yeah, there's one thing that reminded me of this because that happened in the turn. It didn't like happen. Okay, short story time. In my win against Aurelian, he was 7-1, I was 6-2, and I won game 1. And then we had a disconnect in game 2. Not a disconnect, a game crash in game 2. And it was like 4-2 or 4-3. And then it was interesting because the judges first said it was a tie. And then they, like Aurelian and I said, no, we don't want a tie. Can we like void it, the game? And then in the end they said void it. And then I realized I should have just taken the tie because that would have meant I would have definitely made day 2 with 6-1. But then the interesting part is that also in Swiss, that's what I didn't know. In Swiss, you also play sudden death.
Yeah.
So, but how do ties happen then? So it's just if it goes down to timer or what? Like
ties are extremely rare in VGC.
The only cases that I know of where we have ties are either the judges are like, well, we literally can't connect these two people, and it's a best of 1 midseason showdown. I've seen that at post-regional midseasons. But then otherwise, it's basically only if you have to tie basically all 3 games and then also tie sudden death. Maybe you can go 1-1, tie, and then sudden death. And you have to literally have the same percentage of HP remaining and the same number of Pokemon remaining, which, given the numbers in Pokemon, really only happens if you're playing an exact mirror a lot of the time.
If you have the exact same pace and the end game is 2 Terra Fairy Raging Bolts with their leftovers and the same 3 Pokemon killed, that's like the most realistic tie scenario that we've actually had in the past. Like
I can give you the 2
I
that I know of.
HPVs on my other Pokemon. What do you do now?
So the 2 that is actually a way that people were winning the stupid Combine Raging Bolt mirrors. But the 2 that I've seen were the one in 2022 was 2 people with Soak Shedinja. Like both managed to soak their own Shedinja, and so the Shedinjas couldn't KO each other. And they were running the same team, and I think they did it intentionally. And they held up the London Open for like 2 hours in the middle of it.
Was it the Wobble Fed?
It was not.
No, that was not the Wob Fed.
Okay.
That I think were the 2 Finnish players. I think
one was Mori.
Yeah. And then the other tie that I know of happened at another European event, because it's always the Europeans who do this.
It's always the Europeans.
Where last year,
where they had,
this year actually.
This year, right? They had the 2 Dozos, the Dozo mirror, where they both had like leftovers and stuff, so they couldn't actually damage the Dozo, and so they both just let it.
But this was an intentional tie as well, because they switched to Dozo Giri turn 1 and teched it the whole time. At least that's what I was told.
Right.
It was. I think it was intentional, but I think that from what I've seen, some of these Dozo mirrors, depending on the team construction, will inevitably, if the Dozo can't KO each other, will go to time anyways, and therefore you really do just want to make sure none of your other Pokemon take any damage, because that's the optimal way to play. So it might have been that is
into Giri turn 1, and both of you like, oh, if it's your only way, I don't know.
I don't know. Like, you don't, because again, I know Raghav did this back in Reg D, Reg C, something like that, where like he used that at one of the regionals, and he was like, yeah, if I take any damage, I will lose the mirror in the rest Dozo mirror. So I have to just lead it, because I can't take any damage with any of my other Pokemon.
Wait, who is this?
Or else I lose on time. I thought Raghav had a tournament where they brought.
You might be right.
Dozo
I
or
just
something
it's
like that.
so funny because I think Raghav did bring Dozo to exactly one tournament. He's just not a dozer. So I was like, what?
Yeah, he is not a dozer. That's true.
And he had this one bad experience, and he said never again.
My bad experience was when that Pokemon was added to the game. I hate that thing.
Now it's gone for good. Actually, there was one that made it into top 64, 36. But
I disagree with it. I don't think it's gone for good.
I don't think it's gone for good, but unfortunately, yeah, okay. 5 Dondozos at the tournament. 1 went 6-3. It was Dozo Tots. On a slight variation of like.
yeah, I mean, Solo Dozo is still there, but I mean, Dozo Tots is gone for good.
Another good question. What do y'all think about best of 5 for grand finals? Like just for the exact finals.
VGC is meant to be best of 3. Like,
I think it's just supposed to
I
be.
mean, your set can last 2 hours. Nah, nah.
It would be too long.
My take, I think best of 5 is fine. It's just less exciting than you think it is because every game matters less. But honestly, like I don't think it would change things significantly. I just think that the player with the matchup advantage or the better player is going to win more often. They're going to solve the matchup quicker because they have more time to figure it out, and so it's going to be less based on how players can maneuver.
It's a completely. Go ahead, Nick.
Go ahead. Oh, so I have this point where for locals specifically, but it applies to higher level events as well. I think that best of 1 for Swiss is potentially more skilled.
If you just do a lot of them, you're saying?
No. So the way OTS best of 1 works is you just have to figure out how the matchup plays based on looking at their team sheet and your 90 seconds of sitting at preview. And that gives you more room to outplay a bad matchup than you would otherwise. And especially in locals, because there's a lot of repeat matchups. If you play a best of 3 in Swiss, you have to show off how you're going to play the matchup, but your opponent has like a favorable matchup. They're just the more skilled player is going to be disadvantaged, and whoever had the better matchup, like if they're at a matchup disadvantage. And so
you're saying that if you beat someone in Swiss, you have to beat them in top cut in 2 best of 3s is it's not fair.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think that. Well, okay, no, it's objectively fair, but it's like it doesn't reward the most skilled player as often as best of 1 Swiss into best of 3 cut.
Haha, you've come right into my hot take that I've been holding for this very moment, which is I think locals shouldn't have top cut. I think it's stupid. I want to be done at the same time as everyone else. I want my carpool not to have to wait for me at the end of the local. And I think
that means if you go 0-1, you can go home.
No. I mean, if your goal is to win the local, but if your goal is to get top 4, right? If you're happy with your 32 CP in mid-season, you can still do it.
Right? Now, once again, I asked the question, Adi, does this involve extra Swiss rounds or the same amount?
You could do the same amount. You could do 1 extra. Either way is fine. But I just think that, there's no reason that we should have all these fights. There's no reason that a 4-0 should get, 25 CP at a midseason, right? Or 5-0 should get 25 CP at a midseason. They won that event. They beat everyone else. They deserve it.
Yeah.
I think the sentiment is solid, Adi. It's just that mid-seasons are absolutely the best source for newer players to get best of 3 practice. At a decently high level. And so I feel like that's I don't know.
Sure.
When it comes to high levels.
Here's the other thing is that if they don't cut, I'm more likely to talk to them if I'm not busy prepping for top cut, right? After the tournament.
But wait, why would they want to talk to you?
Or just chat because you talk to your locals sometimes. I don't know. I think
why but why would they want to talk to you in specific? Is what I meant.
Gone.
I don't know. I feel like there's no reason. I really don't like top cut at locals. I think locals shouldn't.
I don't like locals.
But you'd like them more if they didn't have top cut and you could leave earlier.
Yeah.
Let's take this in a completely different direction. There was a point where I thought that this take I was gonna hop in with we've offered several times before. It felt more relevant then. It's very not relevant now. I think the only change that I want to see to any kind of late stage tournament thing is that I'm just tired of Championship Sunday. We're all tired of Championship Sunday, so I know that everybody in the call kind of agrees with that. Michael, you're the one that's most recently of any of us experienced the Championship Sunday. From Worlds. I hate Championship Sunday. I actually want to hear your take. Do you like Championship Sunday, or would you prefer top 4 and finals be played, or top 8, top 4 and finals on the same day? What do you think?
Okay, so it depends on the format itself, because like Worlds format is also a bit different than NAI like the IC format,
right?
Where you literally just have one tournament and not 2 separate tournaments. So I think if you have the IC kind of thing, I think it makes most sense to have 9 rounds into either everything or 6 rounds and then top cut hole on Sunday. But like with 9 into 8 into 1, it's just stupid. And for Worlds, I would say you could do if they keep the same format as last year's, day 1.
They've announced that day 2 invites are gone, for what it's worth.
So it's one tournament now?
It's just one tournament now,
tournament.
yeah.
It's an IC format.
Okay. So, but back then I would have made day 1, then day 2 until cut. But it's also just 5 rounds or something. But that's still smarter, because like last year we were sitting until 11 p.m. or something. That was ridiculous. But there were also issues. But I think if I have to choose, I would do 9 day 1, 6 day 2, and then 3 top cuts. I think 3 days is cool. Is nicer than 2 days.
There are logistics reasons, if they want to stream all the finals, they can't stream junior, seniors, masters finals plus all of masters top 8 and all of top 4 or whatever. So
I mean,
I understand that a little bit. It would be nice.
It would also, wait. It would also just be 9 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
They can kind of get away with it, especially if they just say we're gonna if they are willing to have a Championship Sunday for juniors and seniors and just do that, play. They have a smaller tournament, play that tournament on Saturday, right, and then have juniors and seniors first thing in the morning as their championships, and then have masters top cut. It does mean maybe not streaming. I don't know exactly how you do it. Maybe there's a couple. You can't stream every top 8 match. You can't. You have to cut out a few more games.
You can
get more options.
You cannot stream every Pokemon genre, like Pokemon Go, TCG, and VGC on one channel. That's the issue. But you would just have 4 top cut matches, 2 semis and top 8 semis, and 1 final, and then masters, seniors finals and juniors finals, which is 9 rounds. And I mean, 9 rounds is from 10 to 7. So if you want to start a bit earlier, from 9 to 6. So I mean, if you want to catch a flight on Sunday evening already, then it's a bit tougher, if you have to be finished in time. But nowadays they also finish at 5 or 6, right?
So we can also just start day 3 at the same time that we started day 1 and day 2. We can tell people to show up at 8 or 8:30 in the morning, and we're gonna start cut then. That's fine. Just do that. People are already on that sleep schedule for the tournament. Just have them show up at the same time that they were showing up the first 2 days, and then we have the time built in to fit everything into day 3.
No, Ploppy, not the old system. I mean, I've never played the old system. Maybe you guys can talk more about it.
I also didn't want to. I didn't know if we had time to launch into another maybe lengthy discussion for this one, but I do like the day 2 Swiss structure, at least enough. So
I second that.
Let's go ahead.
If you get me, Nick, and Alex talking about that, we will just sit and complain for the next hour, and we just really don't have the type of time.
Right. I unfortunately have coaching afterwards. Maybe not unfortunately for me, but unfortunately for the people wanting some more content. Unfortunately, Showdown is down. I was planning on doing a stream after the session, but if Showdown's down, I don't know. I could come back on and talk more, but I wanted to play some games.
Walking.
Let's go ahead and get to some calcs. Calc is right. Let's wrap up things.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
So, Michael, you had one ready. I don't know if I do. Let's actually have you start us off. Go ahead with your
Alright.
Calc.
I was first thinking about what wanted about a Ladios calc or a foul play calc with motors or how weak 5 actually is, but choice band Willaboom sounds more fun. So let's take a choice band Willaboom, max attack adamant,
Mm-hmm.
grassy terrain,
Yep.
choice bandit,
Mm-hmm.
sort of ruin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just basically choice band with jam power on the field, Terra Grass
Yep.
into max HP, no defense Incineroar.
All right, I'm here for it. Did we get intimidated?
No.
We switched in after. All right. All right.
Switched in.
We do have the Terra Grass. Yep. Okay, so... And we're doing Woodhammer?
We're doing Woodhammer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, it's Woodhammer.
Sorry, what was the
Ensign with no defense,
Max
just max
HP.
HP. I've got my
With
number.
Jolly.
Switching Ensign. Okay.
I've got a number.
I've got a number.
All right, Michael, pick one person to start, and then you just call on people.
Nick.
I'm going. It does about 80.
Alex.
I had 88. Nick, you said 80?
I did say 80.
Okay,
I think
cool.
I might be underselling it.
No, you're. I just wanted to make sure I didn't hear
Yeah.
the second part wrong. 80 versus
Yeah.
88. Audie.
I feel like that's a little high. I'm gonna go with 75.
Okay. So we have both sides of this. Let's. All right. I guess I'm the guy hosting. Let me.
you have to.
Let me go ahead and plug this all in.
Oh,
Choice
that's gonna
band,
be so fun.
Adamant. We don't have the Sword of Ruin yet. Let's get Ensign on the field. Just gotta take away these defense. We'll make it the 252 HP so things are accurate. I want to disable Intimidate. Let's turn that off there. Sword of Ruin Terra. No, bro, leave him alone. Holy.
Wait, it's until it shows up on screen. Yeah, now, guys.
So it's a guaranteed Oko 102.9.
Yes. 103 min damage.
What the heck? I know that this spread's a little bit fake, but not the fakest. Some people are running like max HP, max speed Ensign.
Yeah, actually, the Jolly said.
Yeah, and so, well, if they have that set, you might not be faster than it. But, anyways.
Actually, my Willaboom is actually, no, my Willaboom.
I don't know if you outspeed the Jolly max one, but anyways. Wow. That thing just drops with one hammer. I mean, the thing is Rillaboom has always been a bit of a insane Pokemon when it comes to stacking multipliers. It just starts with quite a few. You know, I guess only one, but like, you know, it's a good one. It's got a good attack stat too. All right. Does anybody have a Calc ready to go next?
Yeah, I got a Calc.
All right, Audie.
All right, so we saw Cerulege do pretty well, and you know we thought maybe it's good in Ice Rider, right? So we got this Cerulege. It's max HP, max attack, and it's got a 1 bulk up buff, so just 2 HP, 0 defense, and it's Terra bugged because it had to Terra bug into this Ice Rider. No big deal. It's going to beat this Ice Rider anyways, right? And this Ice Rider, you know, called out the Terra bug, didn't go for highest power. It's just max attack adamant. It goes for Glacial Lance. How much does Glacial Lance do to +1 defense, max HP, Terra bug Cerulege?
Do we have any defense EVs? 4 or 0?
Sure, let's do 4.
That's some fun.
4. All right, we got 4. We got 4 with a bulk up. 252-4 with a bulk up versus just max attack adamant Glacial Lance.
Spread, of course, right?
Spread, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
We're playing doubles.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Michael's playing singles, but everyone else is playing doubles.
Yeah, I'm playing singles. I once again showed that singles players are the best. Actually,
I've got my number, I guess. I don't know. I've got my number. I don't know if I'm happy with it or not.
I've got my number.
Michael, you ready?
Yeah, I've got my number. But in case you think I'm calcing, I'm just reading mails.
No, of course. I know. I believe you. Yeah. All right, Michael, we'll let you go first. Better count quickly.
43.
43. Nick, what do you think?
I've got 53. I think we're
53.
living at +0, but not comfortably.
It It was terribly close to my number, 45.
45. All right.
Yeah,
look at it.
it's just below 50, I think. But how much below?
I think it's getting below 50. Come on, sword
I'll tell
guys.
you what,
Definitely
one of
below
you
50.
guys are in the range if I did the calc right.
Okay.
Then
No, we're not
it's
looking at Bitter Blade. We're
probably-
looking at Glacial Lance.
I would say
Ooh.
it's Alex then.
Buck, Bug, Terra, Glacial +1 defense. 44. Oh my god, let's go!
No, 1% off. I was like 40, and
Nick,
then I took
Nick, you said
3.
53?
Yeah.
I think so.
Nick,
Yeah.
you didn't. I mean, the high roll's pretty close to 53, but it's not 52.
No, wait. Hold up. It's not supposed to be 4 defense. Right?
We
It's
did
supposed
say
to
it
be
No, we
was-
said 4 defense.
We did say it was 4
Oh.
defense. No, Nick.
Does that change it?
It actually doesn't. It actually doesn't.
Okay.
You'd still be wrong.
We are
So-
both 1% off.
Tragic.
Come on.
You guys are so close. All right, Nick, it's me and you, and I actually still haven't thought of one. Nick, go ahead. if
I
you have
haven't either.
one. Okay, hold on.
Um,
Let me take a glance at Top Cut. I thought I had something. Oh, you know what? Let's
Okay,
talk about Nils' team. I'm gonna talk about Nils' team. That Life Orb Draco. I just want to know how much does Life Orb Draco Meteor do to, let's say,
Terra or not?
let's not Terra. Let's not Terra this Life Orb Draco Meteor into the big form of Terrapagos. So it doesn't have Terra Shell. It has I don't know what spreads people are running. Let's actually run 4 HP because I'm pretty sure the specs ones these days are going max special attack, max speed. So 4 HP, but the big stellar Terrapagos. How much is it taken from non-Terra Life Orb Draco?
Get a number.
And this is modest max on the Draco.
I got a number.
All right, Michael, you figured it out yet?
Got a number. Yeah,
Oh.
I got a number.
All right, let's start with I can't remember if Audie would first yet, but Audie, it's to you.
I think it's doing about 78. I think Life Orb Draco hits hard.
Okay,
I won't
Nick.
change my number, but
I've got. I'm going like 92. I think
yeah.
Dragon Maw is pretty unfair.
I just wanted to say, I immediately say 96. So when Adi said 78, I was like, am I washed?
You're not supposed.
I,
We kind of like have
The
like a
first thing I
soft
thought
rule
of-
of like you're supposed to lock in your number, and so like don't change it based on other guesses.
Yeah.
Sorry, Audie, I cut you off twice. What were you trying to say?
No, I was gonna say my first number. I thought it was 85, and I was like, no, that seems a little too high. I'm gonna go a little lower than that.
Because my math was baby probably takes like 60, so this takes 96.
Okay.
Because everyone knows the baby card.
All right,
from
Terrapagos
Life Orb
fast
Draco.
choice specs is actually exactly what I'm looking for. 4 HP basically. Draco is looking to do 78.3 to 92.3.
Come on.
Damn.
Now I think Nick said 92.
I did say 92.
Yeah.
Nick is in there. Nick's just the type of guy to high
Yeah.
roll. I want you guys to know. He would just get that high end of the roll. Audie, or no, Audie,
I
you were
said
too,
78.
you were a tad too low. You said 78.
Yeah, I should have gone with 85. My gut was so on point.
85 was nice, and then Michael 96 not gonna do
Yeah.
it, unfortunately.
I hate the turtle. I'm always underestimating the turtle. Because the turtle is a loser. Second place, and I'm not a loser, so
So true.
I
Mike.
and that's why I thought it might die to the Draco.
All
because
right,
it's such a loser.
Nick, what are you cooking?
Okay, so I've also got a Specs Terrapagos calc, but this time it's dealing damage.
Okay.
So
Michael's not
it
gonna
might
get
be
it
a
because
lot
this
of
Pokemon's
damage.
a loser.
Terra Hyper Beam.
It is in fact Terra Hyper Beam into Calc Default Raging Bolt, which is 188 HP for Spadaf Assault Vest.
Okay, Calc
Beads
Ball,
of Ruin?
28 HP, 4 spin.
There are no beads of ruin in this calc. It's
Okay.
just
So just Terra Hyper Beam specs makes
it's
special.
clicking its button into AV Raging Bolt. How much does it do?
And of course, the bolt was next to Wide Guard, but we called that,
We did call that.
Yes. Okay.
I got my number.
Wait.
All right. I'm picking a losing number.
Wait, could we just wait a sec?
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You gotta run the
we wait
numbers.
for confirmation.
I know how much the baby Starstorm does that. Now
Yeah.
the
That's
baby
what I was doing. I was like,
Hyperbeam does.
I know how much Starstorm does. How much does Terra Hyperbeam do based on that?
Yeah, then all you got to do is add the Terra multiplier and add the
special
basically
attack
that
boost,
points and
yeah.
like a couple points for the nature, and then you're good to go.
It's simple calculus, basically. You can do this on paper.
Yeah.
Well,
could
you
do it on
could back of the envelope kind of rough estimate it. As
For
good as
sure,
what I was
for
doing,
sure.
So.
Man,
Right, times
I-
1.2,
I-
times 1.2, times 1.3, something like that.
throw
you know,
back to the
like,
episode that Leonard did the calc on paper. That was too funny.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay.
And how much does the baby Starstorm do, Michael? Because if you know that one, I'll like give you some credit.
Okay, without Beats of Ruin,
Yeah, without Beads of Ruin, just the baby Starstorm.
55 to like 63.
Close
think-
enough. Yeah, you're in the range.
It does a little less than that, right?
Anyways,
No.
the
I
calc
have two shot.
So, Michael, what's
The
your pick for the
calc-
big number since Nick called it and knew it already?
Yeah, my call would have been 93.
Okay, Adi, what you got?
Okay, maybe now I'm scared because apparently he had a higher number for Baby Starstorm, but has a lower number than me after adding in the multiplier. So I think I did my math wrong.
I think
I
Michael's
was
doing the math
105.
wrong, bro. I'm pretty sure.
No, I was always good in math.
Okay.
What's your number, Adam?
I was good at math too, but I haven't taken a math class in 7, 8, 9 years now. So I'm going to the 105. I think it kills.
Actually, it should be more than double than that. Yeah, it should be.
That's what I thought. I thought it was more than
Yeah.
double.
Your
Yeah.
numbers are locked in. Alex, what's your
Yeah.
number?
Okay, I'm gone.
I'm not
Bye.
changing my number, but again, everyone is making me nervous. Adi included. I was at 102. So I was
Okay.
below
What
him,
did
but
Adi say?
if I
don't
could change
really-
it, I'd want to be above him.
Oh.
Holy shit, this is scaring
Yeah.
me.
Did Adi say
So-
110 or something?
I said 105.
105.
Right?
Also,
My-
Robbie,
my math is
Robbie, thank you for the follow. Welcome to Top Nation.
my math is when I've usually hit that guy, I've usually just barely two shot, so it's doing 50 to 60 ish, and then it's a little over 2 times.
Okay, I think we're all chill. We're fine. Well, I don't know if
have
Michael's.
phenomenal news. Y'all made it in.
Wait, what did Michael pick?
93.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
in there.
All three
Okay,
of you guys, all three of you guys got
we
it
were
right.
all panicking, but we were just fine. We were all.
Also, my Terra. Could you do Terra? Could you put out the Terra?
Oh yeah. So
So-
on Terra, the Starstorm does 47 to 56 is what I'm seeing.
Okay. I
So it's a roll
expected a
two-shot.
bit more. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And if you get those beads of ruin, it's a 2-shot.
I have done it a
the
couple
one was
times,
like
and I've always two shot.
65. That's what I remember because when I watched the semis series between Marco and Joji, and he went for the Dark Pulse Terra Starstorm into the Raging Bolt, and the Raging Bolt just died, I was like, okay, I have to calc this Terra Starstorm, and it apparently was a roll, but good players get the rolls.
They always get the rolls. Last thing
That's
to
why
mention,
that's why you said 93, right? It's because all the Terapagos just only did 93 to you.
they lowered, you know. Wait, that's he doesn't have a bolt. Anyways, okay. That
Not
actually
money.
amuses me, bringing back to when Michael said that people would helping hand Draco his Rillaboom. It's like, bro, you don't need all that juice. This guy would just drop anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing that we forgot to mention was smart money. I just wanted to bring it up. You know, of course, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because I want it. I did pick the best smart money for the last one. Nails had the Roxon Brothers.
Actually,
Adi had the Hose
the
Brothers.
Hoy
Oh wait, no.
brothers. Yeah, Hoy
Seeds?
was able to make it into top 8 with a better record.
Adi beats me on seeds, bro. Whatever, man. Never mind. He grabbed 2 people. That's like not even fair.
I did.
What are the
I don't know.
Roxon brothers?
No, I
The
think
Roxon brothers
Alex, you win this.
Victor?
Alex, you win this on average placement.
Right. I think so.
Where
I
did
think
the
that's
other
only
Where did the
fair.
other Hoach bro finish?
Not day 2, I think.
Yeah, he went. He finished 5 and 4.
I thought it was 6-3, no day 2.
It was
No,
6-3.
It was 6-3. What? Okay, I suck. But who is the Roxon brother?
That's
Torby of,
Torby,
Roxon.
Victor Medina. They're not brothers, but
I know, but that's funny. They were like 16th and 15th and
Roxon went 6-3.
Yeah, but top 64.
Yes.
All right, that's gonna be it for this one though. It looks like Jody might be getting started with some streaming, so maybe we'll throw you guys over there. But make sure you
My
know.
smart money for LA is Eternal Snowman.
Yes. Shout outs
Good
to that
pick.
guy, Eternal Snowman, the goat.
Great builder. Great guy.
Yeah, Adi already linked it in the chat, but I was going to mention that if you got in here late and you didn't catch the beginning, the rest of this is going to be uploaded on YouTube tomorrow. So check it out there. Thanks for hanging in through the audio testing. Also, people, sorry about all that. But anyways, let's go ahead and raid Soul Serve.
What's your opinion
go-
on the
make sure
playmat, by the
to follow.
way?
What player match did you get? Let's see. While we're on the way out here, you got Iron Leaves. Oof.
I was
That's
about to run coaching Iron Leaves with Miraidon.
Yo,
And I'm not kidding. Because I had like Iron Leaves Miraidon.
Oh,
on the
Nick, do you have
team
your
with
top 8,
our
Matt? Is
wallet
that what you're
start.
grabbing?
I do. It's still got the original rubber band on it and everything.
The original. He just opened it.
Yeah.
This is
Yo!
a Matt
Cheat.
opening. Yo.
A mad opening.
All right, guys. That's gonna be it for this
All
week. Thank you for tuning in. Say hi to Jody for us. Peace out, peeps.
Shout
See
out
ya.
to Robbie. He requested one.
Yes, true. Shout out to Robbie.